Between the two of them.
The inside of Coates.
Parker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.
You know what? I think it was the 60s or was it the late 50s when the rock and roll singer Eddie Cochran said, "There ain't no cure for the summertime blues. We've got a cure for you over the next 8 weeks." It's the Virtual Reality Racing Club Cupra Leon Cup. And I'm delighted to be back, Rich. Thanks for inviting us along, and delighted to be joined by Rila for the commentary this evening. First time I get to work with Reeve. Welcome along, mate. How you doing?
Very well, thank you very much, Richard and Rich. Great to be in the comms box for the first round of this series here at Pascani.
It's going to be 8 weeks. I've got to offer my apologies. I'm not around next week. I'd love to go to Barcelona with you all, but unfortunately, somebody else thought I'd already let down with another sim commentary because I was sim commentating on another thing. I will be online, but doing something else, sadly, but not commentating, I hasten to add. So I think Jack Oliphant with us next week. With you, Reeve, which will be good. Then we go to Donington. I'll be back for that one, 31st of July. This sort of kind of mirrors the summer holidays, isn't it? Round 4, Nurburgring. Looking forward to that one. One of the few tracks I've actually competed at, Nurburgring. Lime Rock on August the 14th, 21st Laguna Seca, Assen TT, the penultimate round, and we're wrapping things up September the 4th at Virginia International. We're a little bit later than we originally planned to be because of the some strange game with a bag of wind last week. But we've got some great liveries, Rich.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, hello everybody and welcome to round 1 of the Cupra Cup. And yeah, thank you for Richard coming on board and our new co-coms, Reeve. So welcome to Reeve. I just wanted to put up this spotter's guide and just show everybody the liveries. You know, we've got a number of drivers do their own liveries, but Kenny Press, who also competes in the championships, does the majority of the liveries for us, and I'm sure you can see he's done a fantastic job on that. So there you go, there's your spotter's guide. You can see all the drivers there, and hopefully you'll be able to see a lot of them out on the track this evening as well.
They look absolutely sensational, don't they? Well done to each and every one of the drivers. We'll update you with who's here and who's out. We've got a couple of absentees. I think this is their dropped round. We'll get on to that as qualifying unfolds. But as you saw, the first round at Pascani Motorpark, which looks like this. Opened in 2023. Location, fantasy track. It's a sim track for you. I guess you guys probably know that more than I do, with myself predominantly being a real world commentator, but plenty of challenges. When I looked at this earlier on in the week, I thought, do you know what? I think if I could design a track, it wouldn't be too far removed from what we've got on offer here today. I think you probably agree with that, Reeve.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got elevation changes. The width of the track itself changes throughout the lap. You've got some slow speed stuff. You've got some high speed stuff as well. It's going to really push those tyres. The driver's going to have to be very much on their toes for the first round.
I think now we've had the election and the planning laws are opening up here in the UK, we probably need to find some grey belt space to build this track for real in the UK. So if anyone knows some grey belt, or if it's even been defined yet, they're talking about all the news today, let us know. And we'll try and find some money to get this done.
We'll have to find some traffic cones as well to try and start plotting it out.
We've got a really...
Yeah, I went to Rockingham when they were building that one. That was a mega thing. I kind of followed that. It's the only circuit in the UK that I've followed from kind of like the first dig, the first spade in the ground, right the way through to ultimately it closing. I was involved in the whole thing, which was a big pity. But there's still no sign of a new track. There was a couple of years ago. It was going to be one north-east of London. But the guy that owned the land decided he couldn't do it, which was a little bit of a pity. We've got a hot lap for you anyway here at Pascani Motorpark, so we'll have a look at what it's like in anger. So qualifying is underway already, and we can join all of our drivers out there. They've been doing a fair bit of test practice. This evening's target time, the best one, set by the guy who just gave you the hot lap, Eric Axelson, 1:46.219 was the time that I jotted down from that. They're already pretty much on that. There is Eric on track right now, running in second position on the timing screen. As you can see, Scotty Bugner is on top at the moment, with Lee Piercy in third. Eric negotiating a wee bit of traffic. There's our old mate, Josh Martin. I get the feeling Josh probably won't come in for as much stick as he normally does today. I don't know whether Reeve knows Josh, but Jack Oliphant certainly knows him. And what is it they say? Familiarity breeds contempt. So I got the feeling that Jack was getting a bit familiar with Josh. There was a good matey sort of bantery relationship between those two.
Yeah, for sure. He's. I mean, no, Josh loves his front wheel drive, so we're expecting bigger things from Josh. All he needs to do is put a bit of practice in, Richard.
They've all been doing it real well. Nice to see Alok Iyengar up. He's in ninth on the timing table at the moment as we stay with Josh Martin. I think some of the jokes we said about grass cutting was that on the Endurance Championship, I think last time that I caught Josh in terms of commentary. So still Scott Bugner out front from Eric Axelson. Scott was second quickest, by the way, in the practice session leading up into our event this evening. Adam Lyle was third. He's fourth at the moment. Lee Pearcey's got up into third ahead of him. And then Joel Lask is fifth. Joel, our top-ranked driver in the championship. Josh Martin is the second-ranked driver in terms of previous competitions. And Andy Carroll is third as we stick with Eric Axelson doing a grand job trying to do his best to get up onto P1 with 4:50 on qualifying left. So I'm going to put Reeve on the spot a little bit. And anyone take your fancy at the moment for provisional pole?
Well, we saw throughout practice that Scott Bugner was looking strong, but in the top 10 or so of the field, it's been looking good. We were discussing before about just how close some of these times are. 1 second is the margin between P1 and all the way down to P9. So very close running indeed for our top drivers here. 4 minutes, probably going to get one, maybe two of your lucky hot laps left in this session if you're not already on one. So
yeah, that's a good spot on the gap for sure. A couple of interesting ones for our regular viewers, and the couple of folks away on holiday. We've got Thomas Potter. Well, he's not on holiday. He's on a school trip. Where was it? He said he was Shetland Islands. Thomas, I think you're watching from up there. So we wish you well, mate. And he's handed over the virtual reins of the car to his sister Catherine. I met both of them at Croft at one of the VRRC meetings earlier on in the year. It was great to see them there. And Catherine getting half points for this one and carrying half ballast, but a great thing that she is standing in, and if she does well, who knows, she might be able to twist Thomas's arm to maybe do some more. I know she's trying to sort her own rig out as well to get involved, so it would be good to have the pair of them racing with each other, but good to have her there. Ben Smith is away on holiday. We've got Paul Laramie not with us because he's moving house, so hasn't quite got his logistics sorted out, but hopefully we'll be back with us next time. And Craig Curtis away on holiday as well. We were hoping to have Oliver Gibson racing with us, but couldn't get on with the car, so the model, so he's decided to just put this on ice for the moment. So we wish him well and look forward to hopefully seeing him on track with us on VRRC very, very soon.
Yeah, Eric Zackerson there looking like he's getting on with the car, has just taken pole position. We've got 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in this session, and he's just gone purple sector through the first sector as well. On that previous attempt, it was the final 2 sectors which made all the difference. He's a 10th faster than Scott Bugner at this moment in time.
Yeah, but both of them running well. Now, Eric, I haven't seen race too much. He hasn't been in the few commentaries that I've done with VRRC, but he was due to do some endurance racing, which I think was his forte. But I tell you what, he's no slouch here, is he, in the front wheel drive? This 2024 spec TCR Cupra looking absolutely mint. Right, let's flip my timing up because I've got to scroll back up. So yeah, Eric on provisional pole, Scott Bugner next up from Lee Pearcey and Adam Lyle. Other places looking relatively safe at the moment. This is the bit, Reeve, that you will laugh at me as the season goes on. I start to write the times down so that I've got a handwritten grid to refer to, and inevitably it will change on the last lap.
That's a bit of an incentive there for the drivers to keep pushing to the end of qualifying. I think that's what.
Exactly.
That's what we're seeing Eric on that lap, and we're currently on board with the number 2 car there. It's Joel Lask, guys. I haven't quite learnt my spotter's guide fully just yet. That is Joel Lask we're on board with at the moment. But Eric Axelson losing out a little bit of time towards the end there. But Sector 1 was so strong, he's actually improved his time ever so slightly to 46.2.
We're focused on Joel Lask at the moment, and those of you, hopefully, we're getting a few first-time viewers, I hope, with us on our VRRC broadcast. The white number, as Rich Hayden was just reminding us, we can hear him, you can't at various times. We're saying that's the car that we are following, Joel Lask, our number 1 rated driver, currently in 6th position on the grid, chasing Andy Carroll. Another one, Reeve, you'll listen out for is that I tend to call Andy Carroll Adam Carroll after the GT driver quite a lot. Old habits die hard in real world circuit racing. Yeah, that can be a bit of an issue. So if I get names wrong, it's age and confusion. Hopefully not as confused as Mr. Biden.
No, I wouldn't worry. I've nearly called this racetrack pastrami about 4 times already.
Oh no, I'm going to do that now.
Yeah. I think if you eat beforehand, it's fine. But if you're a bit hungry going into the comms box, that's it.
Oh, mate. That's not good. So the clock is down. Eric Axelson on provisional pole. Scott Bugner in 2nd. A couple of the drivers are now taking the checker. Lee Piercy is in 3rd place. There might be some swapping around in the top. Eric takes the checker. He is done. Still Scott and Lee are green at the moment. Scott takes 2nd. And it looks like that is going to be our top 3. Joel Lask, really, it actually, unusually for me, calmed down over the last couple of laps, and nothing really changed too much. Here is Andy Carroll, the last of the runners to come and take the checker. So qualifying done, and we'll have a word with our top 3 runners after this message. So welcome back, and on to our first qualifying podium, and we're going to do 3, 2, 1, as you probably heard before the break. Taking 3rd position on the grid is Lee Piercy. Lee, it's Richard here. Well done on getting P3. Do you think there was any more in the tank for you?
Good evening, Richard. No, to be honest, I'm not even sure where that lap come from. It's yeah, I've been a bit busy, to be fair, and I've not been on. I've done about 30, 40 laps practice in these cars, so I sort of rushed home from work, and yeah, I'm not really sure where that time come from. So I got quite close to that in the practice, I sort of just guessed at the setup and yeah, put a good lap together. So we'll see how the race goes.
How are you finding this little configuration? Because obviously it's not one you can sort of bring any experience, or the real world drivers can't bring any real experience in. So does that make a difference?
Yes and no. I suppose I've probably done enough laps to learn it now. So, but yeah, it's definitely an advantage when we go to the tracks where I've raced before.
Yeah.
But it's quite a cool little track actually. And getting used to the front wheel drive again. Obviously, the last few championships we've done have all been with the BMWs and the World Endurance, all been rear wheel drive. So it's been a while since we've been on the front wheel drive. So that's taken a bit of getting used to again.
That's good. We've got 8 weeks to get used to it. So, so what expectation for the race? So you're not sure where you got the lap from, but you're qualified P3. Where do you reckon you'll wind up first one?
So I normally set my expectations top 10, and I'll be happy. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Let's see. Let's try and keep it on the black stuff, keep it clean, and see. Let's see how it all fares out. I think I've not done a race run on these yet, so yeah, first round, top 10, I'll be pleased.
That'd be good. That'll keep you in the reverse grid bit as well, won't it? Because it's top 12 reverse rather than total reverse, which should save a little bit of carnage from the stuff I've been working on before with you guys. So top 15, I beg your pardon. Yeah, Rich is correcting me on top 15. So okay, so we're keeping on. Good luck for the race, Lee. We'll hopefully catch you on the podium on one or the other of the races. Have a great one, mate, and thank you for having a chat with us. No, and doing the P2 interview, I'm going to hand over to Reeve.
Much, Richard. So, congrats, Scott. Well done on P2 in qualifying. Was that something you were prepared for heading into the first weekend of the season?
Yeah, I think front wheel drive is definitely my forte. Rather than rear wheel drive. I'm not a big fan of rear wheel drive. Race front wheel drive in real life, so I think it's kind of helped me a little bit to get back to the front and back to the sharp end, and quite look forward to getting going.
Would you say this is the type of track that really suits your style, or do you not have any preference?
I don't really have any preference. As long as it's front wheel drive, I can try and drive around the track if I can.
I like it. I like it. So you've done well in qualifying. How does this affect kind of your headspace really going into the race? And what do you do in terms of planning for this? Although it's a sprint race, still 25 minutes worth of racing to do. How do you go into this race?
Just kind of, I think getting the things off the line is going to be the tricky part. I've done a couple of practice starts, but I don't know what everyone else is like on them. So get off the line and maybe follow Eric and give him a flash of the lights and try and put him off, I hope. But I think we'll put up a good race, and welcome back to Eric, and well done.
Good stuff. And one last one for you there, Scott, because I certainly haven't wrapped my head around it. The launch control system. Feeling confident with it?
No.
It's
going to be dump the clutch and go and see what happens.
Nice and simple. Nice and simple. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Thanks for talk to our pole position man then. Congratulations. I think it's my first interview with Eric Axelson. Eric, lovely to talk to you, and well done on pole position, fella.
I believe it is. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So obviously you I was sort of keeping an eye on the benchmark times in the practice session coming in, and all looked good for you. So topping that and topping qualifying. Is it a track you've done a lot of races on? You're familiar with it, or is it all down to pure practice building up into this our first event?
I think I had like one race on it before. It's then I've done quite a lot of practice now actually, because like initially we thought that the first race was going to be last Wednesday, so I've done like almost 2 weeks worth of practice to be honest. So yeah, some practice, yeah.
Okay, Rich refers to you by nickname of the Swedish assassin. I can't say it properly. Are you actually based in Sweden? Are you dialed in from Sweden?
Yeah, I'm located in Sweden, yeah.
Okay, whereabouts?
On an island in the Baltic Sea called Öland.
Well, so it's really good that we've got this sort of international sort of flavour to it. Who out of the field that we've got would you say that you may be most. I mean, I don't know if you know what the grid looks like at the moment. We've got yourself on pole. We've got Scott Bugner alongside Lee Pearcey and Adam Lyle, row 2, Andy Carroll and Joel Lass. Give us your thoughts on some of those drivers that you've probably raced against before.
Yeah, I mean, they're like super experienced, and like many of them races in real life, and I don't. So it will be, yeah, it will be tough, you know. Starting on pole in the first race obviously feels good, but yeah, I think it's a long championship, and I think it will be tough.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? So you've got 8 weeks to sort of bed yourselves in and make sure you finish and get some points. You're saying that you haven't done any real racing. I'm guessing logistically, travel-wise, it's possibly quite difficult for you to. Where's your nearest track? Is it Stirrup or somewhere like that?
Yeah, it's not too far away actually. It's like 2 hours with car, and yeah, it's not that many tracks in Sweden. It's not the same like a culture in Sweden as it is in the UK, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I go and watch like Swedish touring cars when I can and stuff like that. So yeah,
that's really good. So race tactics. So assuming you get a decent finish in the first one, and nobody's going to bet against you winning at all, Eric. It'll be 15th on the grid for race 2. What are your expectations for both races?
Sorry, for the race 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, race 2 is always interesting with reverse grid. So, like, usually for race 2, I just try to get through like in one piece. That's usually my my expectation, or what I try to do. To be honest.
That's fair enough, isn't it? Get yourself to the line, get some points. Eric, thanks for having a chat, and you never know, we might be talking again after race 1. We may well do. Great livery, and good luck for the race, and thanks for having a chat.
Thank you, Richard.
So that was Eric Axelson on pole position for this one, as we look forward to our first race of a 8 rounds. Our first round, obviously, this weekend. The cars are on the grid. Eric Axelson in black and green. Then we've got the grey fronted to gold rear of Scott Bugner, and then the black car of Lee Pearcey. They're the 3 men that we just spoke to. I use the word men, but of course, don't forget, this is gender neutral, because we've got 2 girls racing. Olivia Krzyżanowska, we haven't spoken about yet, in the 899 car, and Catherine Potter in the 38. So I think lining up in 16th. So look forward to seeing how those go. But exciting stuff, Reeve, as we look forward to our first race of the campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. The anticipation now really begins to build for the drivers at this point. This is going to be the start that they remember out of the entire season, unless they have some miraculous ones elsewhere at the other venues. As you say, though, Catherine Potter, plenty of support for Catherine in the YouTube chat. So hello to all of you watching on there.
Yep, that's really, really good to see. And so hopefully we can get Catherine back out. I was just trying to work out what country would Pascani be in if it was actually in a real country. It'd be great if it was here in the UK, but I'm guessing somewhere mainland Europe if it was for real. Yeah, Rich. Yeah, it could be Italian, couldn't it? It doesn't sound like that. We've got about a minute to go before our first race of the season. So Eric Axelson, I actually managed to get away and give the guys some time to get ready for the race. Normally I end up speaking with about 10 seconds to go, and they've got to go and compose themselves very, very quickly indeed. 4th on the grid in the, well, it's sort of tiger livery, isn't it? Adam Lyle. 5th is Adam, sorry, I knew I'd get an Adam Carroll. Andy Carroll, gold to grey. Joel Lass next up. 6 on the grid in white and yellow. We've got 30 seconds to go, so everybody in very good order. I'm looking forward to our first 25-minute race of the evening. At least I remembered to say evening instead of day, which is quite good. So, lighting sequence is about to get underway here at our virtual Pascani Motorpark. 10 seconds remaining. Lights are going on. Reasonably long wait, and we are underway. A good start. Stu Henderson towards the back was breaking ranks to try and make some ground, but it's a super start by Eric Axelson. Absolutely perfect off the start. And I think Scott Bugner's dropped back. We've got Adam Lyle having a good challenge. Adam has got up into 3rd place momentarily, but now being passed, so he's back down into 4th place. So it's Axelson from PSE, then Adam Lyle in 3rd position from Scott Bugner. So Scott not perhaps getting the launch control to work as well as he wanted to. He was just going to go for it, as you heard from Reeve. And that was a nice, tidy start by everybody, Reeve.
It was indeed. You always wonder with touring cars, is it going to be a little bit of dodging cars more likely? No, that was a great start for everyone pretty much, especially the likes of, as you say, Eric Axelson and Lee Piercy there. They seem to get that 335 horsepower onto the tarmac with ease.
Yeah, Lee Piercy, he was pretty humble, wasn't he, with his interview? And I don't think he was expecting too much in terms of maybe being a bit surprised that he pulled a really good lap to qualify 3rd. There he is in 2nd position at the moment. I think we've got Adam Lyle now up into 3rd place. So Eric sort of setting the way and starting to break a little bit clear now from Lee Piercy, who's going to find his rear view very much occupied by Adam Lyle, I think, shortly. But there is Lee doing a good job. Remember, his aim, he said, was to try and finish in the top 10, which will put him in good stead for the reverse grid race. I have commentated on the race win for him as a change for 2nd position. Adam Lyle nips up the inside. There's a little bit of a kiss and a cuddle. Scott Bugner goes through on the inside, and he's actually going to take 2nd position from 4th here, although he's on the wrong side of the road for the first turn as they come across the line at the end of lap 1 and go into the left-hander. And it's Adam Lyle who actually read that well in terms of track position, gets the position back from Scott Bugner. Now, it's not tiger stripes, is it? It's just tiger colouring, actually, with a little bit of silver thrown in. And Scott Bugner goes off and back on. The great thing from Scott is we know he can recover. I've seen him racing MGs for real, and he is a very, very quick and resilient driver. I tell you what, they've got to be. Eric Axelson just getting away at the moment. Now, the others will not want Eric to have that lead early doors.
Yep, perfect situation for Eric Axelson. The rest squabbling, that just allows him to walk away there out at front. We saw there, Lee Piercy just left a little bit of a gap at the end of the previous lap. Adam Lyle says, thank you very much, and Scott Bugner works with him, follows him through as well. But unfortunately, all went wrong start of this lap. Still feeling the pressure now from the Orange Phoenix liveried car there, side by side as we head towards the end of the lap. Once again, if Adam Carroll gets the position as we follow along here. Brad Smith, not Ben Smith, Brad Smith. Got to learn that. Who is behind now?
Yeah, a lot of Smiths involved in sim racing, which is great. And all of them very quick as well. So Axelson, Lyle, Piercy, last, Bugner in 5th, and there's a wee bit of contact. Yeah, I tend to understate sometimes the contacts, and well, going through there, Andy Carroll, nearly said Adam Carroll, Andy Carroll. I never ever commentate on Adam now, but there is the Key Point Intelligent car of Carroll now up into 6th position. Josh Martin is coming up to play though. Big sideways moment there. Can't remember who that is with the blue mirrors. Nathan Smith with the blue. Yeah, of course. For some reason, I'd written down the wrong colour on my notes for Nathan's mirrors. But so Nathan collecting it all up pretty well as we have a look at Andy Carroll there. Currently down in 6th place. Scott Bugner in 5th. So it's Axelson, Lyle, Piercy and last. The gap at the moment, 2.4 seconds, 1st to 2nd position. Plenty of squabbling going on down the order. So
I was just going to say, Richard, yes, it was a clean start, but throughout the field at this point, especially at the back end of the grid, we're starting to see quite a bit of squabbling, quite a bit of contact, even a drive-through penalty, I believe, for Catherine Potter coming in now as well. So 5 minutes. It's been a bit of a race of attrition so far for this first 5 minutes.
It is. You know, this is hard lines for Catherine, but her first go, she'll just get herself into the groove of this racing and start to just get a feel for it and see what she can do after she's had the drive-through and maybe get some points on the board. Joel Last there in 4th. Remember, one of the top-rated drivers in the championship, and there he is in the number 2 machine, busy chasing after Lee Piercy at the moment, and Lee, I guess, will to a certain extent be looking behind him, and maybe this is sort of bearing out what he said. Okay, drifts wide, Lass goes through. Scott Bugner's going to try and get involved as well. So we've got this battle between Bugner and Piercy manifesting itself now. We had it in qualifying, obviously on different parts of the track, but now it's manifesting itself actually on the racetrack. Piercy, though, is back into third place. He's having a very, very good go at this, Piercy.
Yes, the two similar liveried cars there, putting pressure on at Piercy as we continue on into this lap. Now, we saw Joe Lask, as he had a bit of it, well, the drivers around him have a bit of an incident, but Joe Lask goes a bit deep into the corner as well. The car lifting up onto three wheels. The front-wheel drive cars, of course, all the weight balance shifts to the front under braking, and it can be a bit tricky to catch sometimes, but Joe Lask negotiating that well.
Yeah, absolutely right. Axelson with 3 laps gone. 18 minutes on the clock remaining. Lass still in 4th position from Scott Bugner, who's having a little bit of a breather at the moment. Scott will be keen to get back on terms with Lee Piercy. Alok goes to the top of the timing screen, which will sort itself out. Alok was running well in qualifying. The ex-Formula Jedi runner, used to be in that championship when we filmed a couple of rounds, a good few years ago now. Quite embarrassing actually to look at some of the old work that we used to do many years ago on to get the programs onto Motors TV. But Alec down in 10th place at the moment as Eric Axelson continues to lead. Briefly having a look there at Alec in the two-tone blue, a nice lighter and darker blue there. 44 car back with Scott Bugner, 5th position. So fending off Andy Carroll and trying to get on terms with Joel Lask. If he can stay with Joel, I would imagine it will work out quite well for him to maybe have a go at Lee Piercy. There in 43 is Sam Milner. Again, some superb liveries here. If you don't get the chance to review all of them on track now, definitely have a look at the Spotters Guide on the side. Mark Stokes getting past.
Yeah, a little bit wide there for... it looked like it was Matt Smith who just about avoided the grass. Of course, the white line is the track limit. 2 wheels within those white lines at all times, please, ladies and gentlemen, if you happen to be watching along for some reason while driving.
Yeah, the track limits are picked up by the software, incidentally, and the contacts and everything else. I'm assuming, and Rich will tell me if this is not the case, there'll be a Monday night debrief.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I'm on air. So yeah, we have 7 o'clock on Wednesday evenings. We go through the previous week's race, review the incidents. We've got a slightly different process this championship. We've improved things. So we usually just let the drivers lodge their own protests. But we've now got some really good data from the server for both races where it actually records all impacts between cars with closing speeds. So anything above a certain closing speed we automatically flag for a review by the stewards, but still have the driver protest process as well in there for them to report anything as well.
It certainly keeps you busy, doesn't it?
Oh, my Monday nights. Well, actually, my Friday mornings, Thursday mornings, Friday mornings are usually full, and then Monday nights is always good fun. The drivers join us in a voice channel, and a lot of them bring their popcorn. So as we go through the incidents.
Nice little battle that we were following there. Brad Smith from Andy Carroll with Josh Martin in behind in the 89 car. Josh sort of keeping a watching brief at the moment, to use the cliche. I'm sure he wants to get stuck in and join in with this, but let's see what Brad Smith can do in the 69. Looks around the outside. That's one of the things there. Oh, he clouts the barrier, which is going to do the car no good whatsoever, and drops back a couple of places. But the Phoenix Sim Racing liveried machine will come on to fight another day. This does leave the door open now for Josh Martin to have a go. Andy Carroll. Let's see what he can do. And I said it was a watching brief. It actually did look as if that's how that played out, because now that other car has gone, he is definitely all over the back of Andy Carroll. So Brad Smith maybe just thought it was going to wind up that way. There wasn't really room for Brad on the outside, although he was side by side with Andy going into that corner. But Josh Martin, you feel here, is the quicker of the two, but outbrakes himself going down into the corner. And Nathan Smith pops through on the inside. Good move there.
Yeah, I think Martin was actually a little bit greedy there with the grass, clipped the grass bit, and that upset the balance of the car into the braking zone, and that was a good catch. It could have been a lot worse, but an unfortunate kind of stop of the momentum there for Martin, for Josh Martin there.
You're right, it was a good catch, and it's kept him on, hasn't it? Kept him in the battle, but he's got Nathan Smith with him, son of David Smith, the British truck racing returnee for this year. Been great to watch some of their live streams and see David back. Lovely family, and a great racer, betting himself back into the championship real well is David Smith. A little bit down on the numbers, the trucks this year, very sadly, but you know, hey, that happens with all formulas. The numbers go up, numbers go down, and then they go back up again. And the Smith boys both doing well. Matt Smith in the 22, his other son racing as we watch. Josh Martin still trying to get back into this. Got Brad Smith behind him, closing up now. So both Brad and Josh have had their moments and have been punished for that. Joel Laskin, 4th place, still chasing Lee Piercy. Are we going to get... Oh, now this is where... I don't know whether it happens to you, Reeve, or not, but one thing that I do is the curse of the commentator.
Oh, yeah, the commentator's curse is strong with this one. It's pretty shocking, actually, to the point where my good friend Alexander Walker, who referred me pretty much to this championship, so please give me some shout-outs, please give me some shout-outs. Here's your shout-out, Alex. He was on his roof on lap 2. So he's been in the pits and he's going to remain in the pits. Yes. Yeah, we missed that somehow, but there was a car on its roof. Yes, commentator's curse is very strong, but I will say Lee Piercy seems to be controlling it well.
Yeah, I was worried about saying that, mate, to be honest.
I've gone for it. This is my debut. I might as well start as I mean to proceed. Yeah, Lee Piercy controlling this race well at this point. We're just about to approach the halfway stage, and he's looking quite comfortable and controlled out there. He's almost like an Eric Axelsen, just a couple of positions behind, really. He just seems to be nicely controlling it. Might have to think about tyres later on in the race, but we shall see on that front.
Yeah, I think you're right. He definitely is settling down. I seem to remember it was one of the VRRC mini races that he won. And he would probably turn around and say it was a reverse grid or something like that. But they are still not easy to win. One of the things that I find is a switch over from real world to sim is that sim drivers are much more happy with reverse grid races than real world drivers are. And I come in for a lot of stick on British F4 this year for saying that the drivers don't want to win the reverse grid races. They would rather win off the front, you know, qualify fastest. But I think most of the sim racers, nobody ever doesn't want the reverse grid race win because they know it is very, very hard earned. And Lee Piercy is hard earning a potential podium here at the moment. Joel Lask hasn't been able to close in. Eric Axelsen's got the gap out to 5 seconds out front over Adam Lyle. So Lyle second from 4th on the grid, having a good run. And there is Eric. Look at this. Look, clear space ahead of him.
Wow.
Clear space behind him. And yeah, this is what Jack Oliphant was waxing lyrical about, the Swedish assassin. He's very much in a class of his own. And as Reeve said about the undulations, you got a great shot there of some of the undulations of this circuit.
Yes, as I was saying before, it's got a bit of everything. We're following through one of the more technical parts of the track, I think, here, where you've got a kink in what would otherwise be a back straight. And as well as we go on board with Eric Axelsen here, who is probably going to set up the blistering lap time. But yes, not only you got the undulations that part of the lap, you've also got the curbs there. If you nail the curbs, there's some time to be found. But let's stay on board for a little while with our race leader at the moment. As you can see, time's looking good. His best lap, 146.4, a few tenths faster than anyone else on track, and he's keeping that consistency up. He's still a few tenths clear of everyone else. He seems to be completely checked out from the rest of this race. He's going well.
He is going well, and you know, his last lap was a 146 as well, the only driver to be in the 146 bracket as well. So he's earned his pole. That's what qualifying is all about, and then make the most of it, go out and keep nailing the times lap after lap. And this is one of the things, again, in the real world, you find with sim drivers, when they make the transition, if the car that's delivered by the engineers works, if their brain is working right on the day, you'll see that they are generally a lot smoother and extremely consistent. And that's the thing that I've never been able to get myself with racing. I've said this before on the broadcast. I just don't have the discipline to do the same thing lap after lap after lap on track. And I'd take my hat off to anyone that can do that.
Yes, absolutely. The last time I had a bit of sim racing experience with some Leon Cupras, it was the previous generation car, and it was me actually driving it, and it was Donington, I want to say, where the tyre temperatures exceeded 189 degrees. So I decided,
Wow.
Yeah, that's probably front-wheel drive, maybe not my thing.
So here's Josh Martin, goes to make the move on Nathan Smith, goes ahead and outbrakes himself again, runs a little bit wide through the gravel on the grass and back again. Josh, though, faint heart never kissed a pig, did it? So he's got to have a go for it, which is what he did. Lee Piercy now, I've got a feeling third to fourth is a tad closer. Axelson down the road, Lyle in second place, third, fourth and fifth on your screen right now with Joel Lask in fourth position. Scott Bugner's done really well to stay with this group, and you just, for me, Scott Bugner's got the makings here of being the dark horse for the podium here. As we click down, we've still got 8 minutes of this race remaining, so we're about 2/3 distance thus far. And you know, Bugner is doing the thing that I can't do. He's concentrated. He's working his way back. Question for me is, where's going to be the best place to make a move? Because while this is quite a good technical track, lots of twists and turns, we've seen that it isn't easy. And most of the overtaking manoeuvres that we've seen so far have ended with people out braking themselves or carrying a little bit too much momentum in.
Yes, those corners that you typically see as an overtaking opportunity are some of the narrower parts of this circuit. So as you say, planning that move is very tricky indeed. I want to just congratulate as well. I want to congratulate Joel Lask on the current keep remaining in P4 at the moment. He's under a lot of pressure. He's thinking about trying to catch Lee Piercy, but he's very much under pressure from Scott Bugner. You imagine he's calling out to Scott saying, "Come on, let's work together. We can try and have a fighting chance for a podium," but that's not happening so far for Joel. Scott's in control, and Joel's feeling the pressure from him.
He is, yeah. All good to see. Andy Carroll down in sixth place from.
I've started doing it as well now.
Oh.
Thank you.
He did loom large early in my career, to be absolutely fair, but and made quite an impression. He was a great bloke as well. But okay, down the main straight we go. Axelson still clear, 6 seconds. So getting away, doing well. We're having a quick look at Chris Blake here. Looks like we've lost Olivia Krasnowska, who's 6 laps down. Catherine Potter 1 lap down, but still going. And thank you to Olivia for putting some information in our channel, which we will use. I won't necessarily use it all sort of first time out, but thank you. It is valued to the two guys that have done that. If any other drivers want to pop some information in as well, that would be very, very useful.
They're just too lazy, Richard. I did remind them to put information in there, and you got, what, 2 drivers?
Yeah, Darren Butler did as well, so
yeah.
thank you, Darren. Darren's in 15th place, and interested to know that Darren lives with disability. I'm not sure of the exact nature, but maybe we can get a dialogue on that and try and promote, you know, Darren's cause as well. But yeah, doing a great job. Darren Butler in 15th. He said his aim was to stay on the lead lap, so he's doing absolutely superbly at the moment, and ahead of the 43 of Sam Milner. So thank you guys for using. We will use the information. We just won't blight all in the first round, so we'll keep that. Maybe encourage some other drivers to pop some information in as well. And you don't have to do it in there. You can get in touch with me on social media if you want to as well. So do it that way if you want to. And if I'm at a racetrack where you're watching with touring cars or VRRC, come and say hello as well. Super battling going on here, and Brad Smith getting really stuck in and making a move. So Brad Smith into P6 now. And Andy Carroll's got to try and fight back. You can see him being a little bit more generous with that line on the exit of the corner, which could give him a little bit more momentum down the main straight. He wants to try and tee up in towards the left-hand side. Too far back to do anything about that at the moment. But neat little scrap going on between these guys. It is... Oh, Lee Pearcey's dropped to 5th now. Did you spot that, Reeve?
I actually didn't. I missed that. I was
No.
busy enjoying this battle that we've been looking
Yeah.
at for a while. There is Lee Pearcey. He is
I
continuing
just
on.
wondered whether it was something I'd missed on screen, but he's down to 5th. But still in the top 10, which is good for him in terms of his prediction. So we've got Joel Last now on the podium from 6th. So he's a high climber.
Yeah, that fight between Joel and Scott has just become all that more important, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, all for the podium. Adam Lyle in P2, 7 seconds down now. So Eric Axelson looks like he's getting into even more of a groove with 4 minutes remaining on the clock. We're in car with Josh Martin. So let's see what Josh could do. Takes a nice wide line into that hairpin and will close up on Nathan Smith.
Car still looking like it's gripping up well for Josh as we go onto his onboard view there. That tight hairpin, you see there wasn't anything in the looks of understeer. So tyres looking like they're going to be lasting for a decent amount of this race at least. Obviously set up dependent.
Is our virtual drone footage. I love this. It turned out that the guy who does the drone footage for BSB is a mate from our old production company who rocked up at one of the rounds. We see Josh having a look up the inside, little tap on the back there. Did that tap open the door? That's one for maybe Monday night next week. They got side by side again. The Dean Martin car again, the wrong side of the track, unless he can get the momentum to cut across. No, he can't. Super battle between these guys. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And we've got Blakey trying to close up as well. Chris Blakey in the 27 trying to close in with him. And that will add a different dynamic to this battle because Josh Martin, well, he doesn't have to start looking behind him, but he'll be aware that black and gold livery is closing down on him and will be trying to get stuck in as well. So the 27 car, very, very nearly there.
Very much so.
Nearly a
So, as you
four-car.
say. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say very nearly a 4-way scrap now, but it doesn't seem to be phasing Josh Martin now, who spots the lock-up, still can't quite get that extra little bit of power to make the move.
I was going to say,
Nathan Smith.
It looks
Go on,
like
mate.
Josh Martin's car ever so slightly down on straight line performance compared to Nathan's. So maybe a difference in error there as we see around the outside. Blakey's going for a move. He's going to get cut off, though, towards the end of the corner. Nice, brave manoeuvring, though.
Yeah, superb stuff. Really having a good go. There's Andy Dorman in behind, busy challenging, and Alok Iyengar in 12th. Johnny Ogden is next up. Good to see Johnny back with us. Another one of our real world racers, Johnny Ogden, in the number 11 late night coffee. Have to go and try some late night coffee at some point.
That seems rather counterintuitive.
I see what you get. I see what you mean. There it is, but it's Knight.
Yeah, in a little bit of no man's land here at the moment by the looks of things, but sometimes that's best. He is in that top 15, of course, so reverse good race coming up in a little while.
That's a good shout. Yeah, we've got Darren Butler at the moment on provisional pole. Yeah, really good thought that with a minute to go. Darren Butler could be on provisional pole. I don't know if we're going to be able to do a grid walk if we have time. Probably don't have time actually with me when we get to asking the questions. But we're back with P3. Joel Lask still being chased by Scott Bugner. So at the moment, it looks like Joel is going to be the man who will talk to Reeve, first of all, as we do our reverse podium. 43 seconds remaining on the clock. Eric Axelson is clear at the moment. 8.5 seconds from Adam Lyle in third place. Joel Lask, Adam Lyle second, Joel Lask third, Scott Bugner next up. Lee Pearce is still in fifth, so he's actually held up better than his prediction was. Brad Smith has worked his way through into sixth, so Brad's had a decent race, but here is Eric Axelson into the closing stages of the race, still riding the curb, still very, very smooth. This has been mighty impressive, Reeve Taylor.
It has. He's put a solid start in, and that's really what you need if you're fighting for that championship. And I think certainly we've seen that from Eric this year. As the timer hits 0, checkered flag there for Eric Axelsson. Congratulations. First race win of the season. We go to Adam Lyle then as well. A few seconds down the road, but still an impressive performance nonetheless.
Yeah, super stuff. Cross the line. So Axelsson, Lyle, last the podium finishers. It's going to be Scott Bugner in 4th position from Brad Smith and Lee Pearce. He finds himself midway in the reversal, which is going to be quite good for him, I think, from 6th position. Josh Martin in 7th. And then we go down, have a look, just see how this is going to pan out. It looks like John Jones is going to wind up in 15th place. So 639 John Jones provisionally on pole position for race 2 with Darren Butler alongside. He finishes in 14th. And then Johnny Ogden and Alec Iyengar on row 2. So we've got an interesting, as ever these are, reverse grid race to look forward to a little bit later on. Let me just jot down some other ones. That's going to be Andy Carroll on the 3rd row with Chris Blakey on the 3rd row as well. But Eric Axelsson takes our first win of the day. I'm pretty much guessing fastest lap as well, 146.473. Doesn't look like anybody else managed to beat that time. And of course, we get the treat of seeing the reverse grid. It's such a great format when you've got these equally matched cars, and it'll be great to see what Eric and Adam can do in our reverse grid race, which will be coming up. But before that, of course, we have to talk to our top 3 drivers. And before that, a word from some of our sponsors once again.
Well, an action-packed start to the season's racing. In the end, it was Eric Axelsson as well as Joel Lask. And apologies there, the timing orders all just changed. But we do have Joel Lask here on the podium. Congratulations, Joel. P3 in the end. How did that feel?
Yeah, that was a bit of a tough gig, that. Ballast doesn't sit well with this car. I had Scott sort of pushing me from behind, and Lee was definitely much quicker than me, but he made a mistake, so managed to capitalise on that. But yeah, tyres was the biggest thing on this track, and just trying to hold on to them.
Was it a bit of a cliff edge towards the end of the race, or was it just a general lack of grip as the laps progressed?
Just a general lack of grip. I mean, the tyres started to go off. Really struggled through some of the long left-handers, to trying to keep it on there, and obviously try and keep away from Scott and try and stop him from sending a move. But yeah, I think we had it covered off pretty well. But yeah, I'm happy with 3rd. I mean, for the ballast and the pace I had, I wasn't expecting to get that. So yeah, happy with that.
It looked like a strong start for everyone at the start of this race, but we started to see a little bit of a paint trading going on throughout the rest of it. Are you just glad you were able to keep the nose relatively clean and end up bringing the car home safely?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest, I think that was probably one of the cleaner starts that we've had. Obviously, reverse grid's much different. Obviously, top 15 in reverse, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it was nice, clean racing, no shoulder barging or anything like that. So yeah, we'll see what we do on this one.
And just a little bit on that reverse grid race, then, Joel, does this boost your confidence a little bit heading into the slightly different format?
I mean, to be fair, I'm normally quite good on reverse grid races. I seem to be able to find a gap and tuck myself in. But yeah, you never know with this. With obviously top 15 reversed, it's going to be a little bit trickier. So we'll see what we can do. But yeah, just go for the win.
I like the confidence there. Thank you very much, Joel. Passing over now to Richard for the piece of interview.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so well done for second position, Adam Lyle. Adam, was it fairly quiet?
Yeah, not at the start. Obviously, I see Scott had that bad start off the line, so I managed to get past him there. But Lee is just so hard to get past.
I was making the comment during the race that it's overtaking could be a bit of a premium, so it's going to be interesting to see how you guys, fare from 15th or 14th on the grid for you in this one. Is that a concern?
It's always a concern unless I'm at the front. Yeah, it's very hard. I mean, when I made my one overtaking that on Lee, I don't know whether he turned in or it was just a bit of door banging, but we'll see.
We'll see on Monday night. I'm sure there wasn't a judicial due.
Yeah,
Lee had a good job, but that's good solid points for you, isn't it, in the start?
Yeah. The only downside to it is all the ballast now next week.
Yeah, you can probably do without that. I can't remember now. Forgive me if I got this wrong, but on the notes, were you coaching or helping Catherine?
It was indeed, yeah, all week.
How's she doing?
Yeah. To be fair, I don't know where she actually finished in that. Because she's got a mic muted in the other chat, but yeah, I think she's been doing all right.
There's just been a message, so it's Rich here, there's just been a message from Thomas in the YouTube chat saying that she didn't load her setup, so she didn't have ABS on and locked up a few times. That's now sorted for race 2, so maybe she'll be a bit quicker.
No excuse.
Nice one. The point I was getting to was just to say, Adam, thanks for doing that and getting her on board. Wish her well with that one. And well done on P2. Prediction for race 2, whereabouts do you think you can get to?
Depending on what the traffic's like, maybe last, maybe hopefully top 5, hopefully.
Nice one. We look forward to that. Congratulations, mate. We'll maybe see you on the podium if you're better than that.
Thanks, I'll try.
Yeah, good luck. Enjoy. And let's hand back to...
Thank you very much, Rich, and congratulations, Eric, our race 1 winner. How does it feel?
Thank you. Yeah, that feels good. Obviously, first race of the season. Yeah, I had a really good start, to be fair. And I saw Scott. Yeah, he looked like he had some issues with the start and fell into the clutches of the pack. So that was good.
Yeah, it did look like a fantastic start for you there. At some point, I wondered if you might be falling asleep at some parts in the race. You had such a clear margin. Do you find it difficult to concentrate on keeping the car on track, keeping it in a happy, comfortable zone when you are lapping by yourself for that amount of time?
I mean, it's not like I'm falling asleep, but you're probably not like you're not like pushing it the same you would as if you were racing close to anyone. I could like try to like manage the tires and not do any crazy moves or driving on the edge. It's yeah.
Well, you did take fastest lap in that race, but what I'm saying is there's more in the tank.
Oh, who knows? There's always more in the tank. We'll see for race 2, but there is many cars ahead of me. So yeah, that would be tough to beat.
I was going to talk a little bit about race 2 because you've had that nice, comfortable race out in front. Now it's time for something completely different. It's the top 15 complete reverse order. So you're right at the back of that 15, starting right in the mid pack, where all of this touring car action, as I'm going to name it, likes to take place. What have you got a strategy in mind, really, to try and make sure that you're in a good position to score well here?
Not really. Besides that, yeah, 25 minutes is a long time, as I see it. So yeah, there's many cars ahead of me, and try to not try to take it nice and easy yeah, pass as many as possible without without going off my stuff. That's the plan, I guess.
Sounds like a solid plan. And just one last one from you, Eric. It was looking good in qualifying, and you were looking comfortable in race 1 as well. How is this car feeling? What are your first impressions of this car as we head into the third round?
I think it's a brilliant car, to be honest. It really suits my driving style, I think. Just think it feels great. And the tires, I think Joel mentioned the tires. They are like not dropping off a cliff. They are like gradually. The grip is like gradually decreasing. So they are. So you can like manage the grip as well. So yeah, I think it's a great car.
2 minutes.
Awesome stuff. So sounds like then maybe a bit of confidence going into race 2. I wish you the best of luck, Eric, and congratulations once again on race 1 victory there. Impressive performance.
Thank you.
Thanks, Reeve, and congratulations to our top 3 from race 1. Joel Lasky heard from in 3rd position, Adam Lyle in P2, Wilson taking the first win. On Sunday, it was Spain 2, England 1. Here at the Virtual Reality Racing Club, it's Sweden 1, England 0 at half time. Are we going to see a recovery from the boys? I tell you what, if the girls have got anything to say, we could see a Scotland victory. Let's see if Olivia Krasnowska can come through from 21st. We won't forget our Scottish friends at all. Here's the grid. They're lining up, ready to go for our second race. So pole position, 15th in race number 1. John Jones, I think if I remember correctly, the man from the Isle of Wight, is in the 639 car. And alongside is Darren Butler in the 131, the Phoenix Racing gold, white and blue livery. On row 2, it is Johnny Ogden. He is in one of the 11s, the late night coffee car, Johnny Ogden, and Alec Irongar behind him in the two-tone blue on the outside. He's on row 2. Then we go back to Andy Carroll in the 76, that familiar gold livery at the front, which sort of receives the back of the car on the grey livery. And then Chris Blakey lines up on the outside of the 3rd row. They're followed by Andy Dorman and Nathan Smith, with Josh Martin and Lee Piercy 9th and 10th. Then Brad Smith. Then we get into Scott Bugner, just missed out on the podium from Joel Lask, Adam Lyle, Eric Axelson 15th, Sam Milner next to him, Matt Smith, Mark Stokes, Catherine Potter and Olivia Krasnowska. Hopefully Alex Walker as well. Lights are nearly off. And there we go. John Jones stammering a little bit off the start. A few drivers changing and swapping positions. But it is John Jones that gets away in that lead position. And Darren Butler in P2. But Alec Irongar goes for the inside run and clouts him on the side. They both survived that. It gives John Jones a good run. But it's the gold front of Andy Carroll, who looks like he's trying to come through at the moment. He's going to try and challenge Alec Irongar, who is in P3. Tell you what, Darren Butler's had a very good start there and is challenging John Jones. This is what I love about the reverse grid racing. It gives the guys that maybe aren't having the rub of the green early on in the meeting a chance to come through and have a go. Jones runs to the outside line. Butler holding a defensive pose. That actually becomes a little bit of an attacking pose now. And coming through, I think that's Nathan Smith who's come through and up into P4, P3 already. Super stuff, Reeve.
Yeah, we're seeing some fantastic drives through the order already on a lap, on a bit of contact here as we head into turn 12, and that is the 639 numbered car there. Not quite, that's John Jones. John Jones off the track there as we're on board with that. Butler has a little bit of, nearly a little bit of contact with the wall, but just about avoids it.
He does. So after all that, it is Nathan Smith out front. So Nathan, who started a good way back, scythed his way through the field. That's the kind of sort of progress you see on lap 1 from my good mate Aidan Hills, who was doing that in the VRRC Mazda MX-5 Super Cup at the weekend on a very wet track up at Croft. We didn't quite know how he made his way through from 12th, 13th on the grid to take the win. And that's what we're seeing Nathan Smith do. Andy Dorman is in second, now challenging for the lead. Alec Iyengar still in third. So Alex managed to put together a really good first lap and has got himself up into a potential early podium position. So Alec Iyengar, then it is Andy Carroll from fifth on the grid in fourth. Brad Smith now in fifth place, and Josh Martin wrapping up the top six as we watch Andy Dorman challenging Nathan Smith for the lead. Settling down very well indeed. Eric Axelson has made up 5 places and is 10th. Lee Piercy still ahead of him. So Lee keeping himself in the top 10. Joel Lask is in 8th.
There is Lee Piercy taking the inside line there. They're going to be side by side here as we head through turn 7, which pushes the front right tyre to its absolute limit there. The speed and the G-force involved is a little bit of a tall order for those front right tyres, but it is Eric Axelson who wins out this time round. I still think though Lee Piercy is going to be one to watch out for in this reverse grid race. He looked like a bit of a force. He's going to be a force in the midfield. John Ogden started high up the order, had a difficult start, ended up being swamped by other cars. He's dropped back down, but is still very much keeping pace with his rivals.
Yeah, good spot about Johnny Ogden there. Disappointing opening lap for him. So down the order just a little bit, but lovely move by Eric Axelson to get ahead of Lee Piercy. And Eric was, you can see why they call him the Swedish assassin. We had another driver called the silent assassin, and he just seemed to want to get those first few corners sorted out, let the madness and the mayhem ensue, sort itself out, and then start to pick everybody off one by one. And there is our race 1 winner looking to try and close down. Joel Lask ahead of him is going to be a very difficult driver to catch. If I'd have looked at the entry list, I'll tell you what, there are so many drivers in the entry list that are capable of winning races and taking the championship. But Eric Axelson on previous form and Joel Lask, I would pick out as certainly 2 to watch. We've got 2 to watch out front here because Nathan Smith and Andy Dorman having a right old ding-dong here. And actually with a little bit of a gap over third place, Alec Iyengar, who himself has developed a bit of breathing space, I think, over Brad Smith in the 69 he has. So Smith has got Andy Carroll right behind him and Scott Bugner up into 6th, then Joel Lask. So you've got this trio to watch out for of Bugner, Lask, Martin and Axelson pretty much all together, as well as these leaders. It's the Egan Garage machine, though, that is giving chase for the race lead at the moment. If they squabble, they will slow each other up. Here comes the pack with Axelson busy chasing Josh Martin at the moment, and it is an absolute job to know where to look for our director.
It is oh so close. There's so many packs of cars that are just absolutely swamping the track. Usually within the 30 minutes of reverse grid race, you'd start to see things kind of settle down, but we are not seeing that here, ladies and gentlemen. Ignore that. It's a bit of a timing error. It always happens in a Seto. It hasn't been a miraculous leap to the lead for Darren Butler, as we're seeing cars going 3 wide here, but staying away from each other. That's probably the most important thing heading into these braking zones. Joel Lask currently running in P7. Just behind him is the car of Josh Martin. Only a 10th behind there. As you can see, Eric Axelson just behind there as well. We're going to head towards the end of the lap now. We've got to try and get as much momentum as possible on to the start-finish straight. All
Eric's finding...
Go ahead.
Sorry, Reeve. Just saying, Eric seems to be very happy about taking wide lines, and you know, I'd almost say they're wet lines sometimes that he's taking. They are overtaking moves. He's having a very good look at his teammate, because obviously he's running with the Dean Martin Contractors livery as well. So what he won't want to do is take out the car in front. Now I've said that, there probably will, no, there won't be contact with Eric, will there? Eric will be doing his stuff. Lee Piercy in 9th behind him, and you know, Lee will learn a great deal from watching Eric Axelson. Gap them developing behind them, and we start to have a look. Looks like Alec had a problem and dropped back with Johnny Ogden and Darren Butler. Darren's still in 12th. Yeah, I missed that. Must have been looking at notes or something. But Josh Martin trying to close up on Joel Lask. But yeah, Joel and Scott, and this is the thing with reverse grid racing, is that you get the top guys were all quick in race number 1. There wasn't a fluke result at all at the top end, and that means they get reversed, and that means they are all difficult to pass in the top 15. And it plays well for Andy Dorman, our leader, with Nathan Smith in P2. timing tower will sort itself out. There are the leaders still with a good lead at the moment. Brad Smith in third. Again, a challenge happens to try and retake the lead. Nathan Smith, always a good fighter, but also someone who will fight back if he loses a place. And we're seeing that here. So Dorman and Smith, your top two at the moment. Axelsen still just sort of trying to weigh up where he can get past Josh Martin. He's had a couple of exploratory moves. This is the pack coming towards us.
We're seeing these colour-matched orange cars have been following each other a lot so far throughout the racing this evening. And as you say, yeah, these packs of cars, it can be really beneficial, I think, if you're not in that group of cars who ended up in the reverse order. You know, if you were, say, in the mid-pack and you've managed to stay around that sort of area in race 2 with other cars around you, it'd be really beneficial. It'd be almost a learning opportunity this early in the championship. You can see what the leaders are doing at certain tracks through certain types of corner and pick up a thing or two as you follow them along in the slipstream.
Yeah, definitely. Reverse grid, middle of a reverse section is a great place to be. As you say, it can be consistent for points if you're holding your position, holding your own through both races. That's what I was talking to Rich about at some point. Maybe we might do a Legends Cars Championship, which is something I work on in the real world. And Legends Cars, the grids are drawn by ballot, and most of the championship front runners will tell you they want to be drawn mid-grid so that they can maybe make a little bit of progress, if not get to the front reasonably easy from mid-pack, rather than having to work their way from the back of the grid in one race. Equally, they may get if you're at the back in one race, you're at the front in another one, and that can be easier. But generally, they tend to prefer, being in the pack and having the mid-grid, because it can just even out both races and make them slightly less stressful. Eric Axelsen, showing no stress at all, has got up into 6th place. So Joel Lass still ahead of him. Josh Martin down behind Andy Carroll now. So it's Dorman and Smith, Smith and Bugner. Sounds like a firm of solicitors, doesn't it? Dorman's still there out front at the moment. Is he going to be able to hang on to this? He's got 1.1 second lead over Nathan Smith with 5 laps gone, 15 minutes on the clock. And yeah, Andy Dorman looking pretty good at the minute from Nathan Smith, who's not that far behind. And then Brad Smith with Scott Bugner in the 7 machine. Next up, there is our race leader in the Eden Garage machine. I'm going to write down Eden Garage and Google it, see if I can find out some more about his sponsor, whether that's a family company or otherwise. He owns the garage, I'm being told. So, yeah, okay. That's, and is that anything? Is that near Eden? Is that in Kent? Is that Eden Bridge in Kent, or Eden somewhere else?
Oh, it's up north.
Right.
In which case, Andy,
nowhere
really
near the
good
Garden of
driver.
England.
Yeah, really good driver. I've got nothing to do with the fact my car needs a service.
And now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of this.
There we go. Speaking of cars and setting them up, I thought maybe this would be a good opportunity to send everyone to sleep just briefly with a bit of setup discussion. Just looking at how the setup works in this series. So it's what we call sort of semi-open setup, isn't it? Where drivers can change quite a lot about the car, apart from dampers, some suspension rates and suspension travel as well. Now, I've actually got a question for Rich here. Can the drivers alter that setup in between sessions? So can they change between quali race and race 2?
Yeah. So they can save different setups. So they can have preset setups for quali, race 1, race 2, but also they can adjust them between sessions as well. So you're absolutely right. The majority of the suspension settings are left locked out, and that's just really to make it easy for the drivers. They're not all engineers, and it's quite a complex setup on this car. So we lock out quite a lot of it. Put a fairly neutral setup on the suspension, but leave quite a lot of the other stuff open for them to play with. Interestingly, this car is reacting on this track extremely well to a harder anti-roll bar setting. Normally, or this car previously, the previous iteration, was better on a softer setup, but it's moved towards more grip on this particular track with harder ARBs.
Right, okay. You can see the suspension working harder on this circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's the other thing actually is the ride height affects the front end grip significantly on this car as well. So it's I've been doing a lot of practice laps in it, which I do every week, just to see and make sure that I know what the drivers are going through. So yeah, there's a lot of time in the setup on this track.
Interesting stuff, and welcome back everyone. If you've just woken back up, we're currently on board with P6 at the moment. Eric Axelsen, race 1 leader, of course, made some nice progress through the field halfway into this race 2 reverse grid race.
Well, Andy Dorman's clear, isn't he? And behind him, the gap coming towards us, we've got Nathan Smith, Brad Smith busy challenging him. We very nearly had a change for second position. That was a great explainer, by the way, about the technical side and the question that needed answering. So thank you very much indeed for that. But we didn't get the change for that. It is overtaking is a little bit of a premium here. But what you can see is we've got a 5-car train, 2nd to 6th place with Eric Axelsen in 6th. And you'll see Eric swing out, take a wide run into a corner to try and maybe get a little bit more momentum for the run into the next one. Here he's going to do the same thing again. He's coming out wide. Is this going to pay off? Is there room on the outside? We've got Brad Smith looking around the outside for 3rd place. Eric still can't quite do it to get around Joel Lask, who's in front of him. Brad Smith trying exactly the same on Scott Bugner, who's now got himself up into 3rd place. A great driving from Scott Bugner to get up into a podium position. But it's still Dorman from Smith, and Bugner, I would say, with, well, I don't know, could still maybe close down on Andy Dorman, but Bugner significantly has got Brad Smith between himself and Joel Lask. So he will maybe think that over the guys that beat him in race 1, he's got that little bit of breathing space at the moment. But look how hard Eric Axelsen is trying to get past Joel Lask. We've got 2 real VRRC stars dicing superbly there, with Andy Carroll and Josh Martin behind, going for 7th and 8th. Then Johnny Ogden. Darren Butler's got back up into 10th place, and Alec Iyengar in 11th. So although they dropped back, they've actually recovered really well. Super racing from those. We've got Olivia Krasnowska, just to have a quick eye on how the girls are doing. Olivia's in 15th, Catherine Potter in 16th. So the Coupe des Dames being headed by our Scots lass at the moment.
It was really fascinating then watching along with Eric Axelsen as we go on board with Brad Smith here in the same pack. Eric's doing something a little bit different to everyone else on track, particularly running into turn 7. We've seen him take almost the inside line as he heads down towards the braking zone, and he darts the car across, almost a bit of a Scandinavian flick, which is perhaps very apt, as he forces the front end of the car to do what he wants. I can't imagine it's the nicest thing on the tyres, but it seems to be giving him some strong results.
Yeah, I think every place gained is going to be valuable points, isn't it, in the reverse. So, Eric, it could still go pear-shaped, but with the quality of drivers we've got here in our top 10, I wouldn't possibly see too many massive changes going on. We've got Brad Smith trying to get back at Scotty Bugner for 3rd position. Scott would rather, I think, crack on and have a go at Nathan Smith. Here comes Nathan, the white and blue with the red or pinky mirrors from Scott Bugner. Joel Lask still there and hanging on from Eric Axelsen, who finds a gap on the inside. Is he going to be able to hang on to this? It really depends how the corners play out. He can't quite do it. Lask in big defensive mode there. Eric Axelsen had a look. Super racing between the pair of them. And classic touring car stuff. They didn't take each other off. Significantly not losing any ground on the pack in front as well. And the battle continues. They go in 2 by 2, a little bit like Noah's Ark at the moment. And it is still Bugner there. Axelsen, shot top of the stack, I was about to say, not related to that, has the fastest lap by my reckoning as well, a 1:47.0. So he's the fastest of the drivers on track. Andy Dorman clear, making hay while the sun shines. And Scott Bugner, as I say, getting the attention from behind, which he can probably do without. And that's Axelsen, who goes off with Brad Smith. So there is a tangle. Axelsen and Brad Smith tangling and dropping back, leaving a 3-way fight now with Joel Lass now in 4th place behind Scott Bugner. Nathan Smith still 2nd. Andy Dorman out front. And Eric Axelsen has recovered well.
He has. He was able to keep the momentum up even on the gravel and continue on. It's lost in precious seconds, but it hasn't lost in precious positions. We're on board at the moment with Scott Bugner. That pack, which was looking oh so tight, oh so close, is now seems completely spread apart almost. Going to be a very different dynamic now as we head into the later stages of this race. Joel Lask doesn't have the threat of Eric anymore, but has still got Josh Martin and Andy Carroll to negotiate as we head towards the halfway stage of this lap.
Yeah, that was, I think, inevitable. We'd got that train and it was only going to get bigger until something burst, and the bubble did burst for Eric Axelsen and Brad Smith. Where did Brad come back in, or did he? Let's have a quick look down the timing screen. 12th position for Brad, and of course it's benefited the likes of Darren Butler, who's up into 9th place now, and Alec Iyengar in 10th, and those guys have held on really well to their front starting positions. They were actually further back than they are now, but have come back. Said that earlier on. As we watch Nathan Smith coming under pressure from Scott Bugner. This may be the focus now. What can Scott Bugner do? We ride on board with him. He can always close up, and he has picked off quite a few places in this, Scott Bugner. So enjoying his race, closing up, big time as you'd expect, under braking, turns through the right-hander, round now into the left. Not close enough, I don't think, to have a go. You've got to kind of be a little bit reliant, so it would seem, on this track for to try and force a mistake from the driver in front to go through. We saw Eric Axelsen find a gap every now and again, but he just couldn't maintain the momentum to be able to come through. Let's see what Bugner can do now as the battle for second place crosses the stripe once again. Dorman still out front, and Bugner trying absolutely everything he can, Reeve, isn't he, to try and get past?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're starting to see the tyres drop off in his car a little bit now as we run through the first and second, well, effectively corners, even though it's the first real corner that you'd see. The car's starting to not respond quite as well. As you were saying, Eric, they're struggling with trying to find a gap to overtake. It looked like some of the gaps were Leon Cupra sized, but only just Leon Cupra sized. And unfortunately, it all went a little bit wrong at the end, such as the way with touring car racing. It's just part and parcel, really, isn't it?
We might now see Josh Martin and Joel Lask battling for a podium by the end of this. We've got 6 minutes remaining on the clock. I think Josh Martin is closing up. And you'll see that the racing lines of the pair that are dicing for second place here are not the optimum ones, because they're battling, and this is, you can see now the gap's coming down, and Josh Martin's going to be involved. And you called it earlier on, the dynamic changes as soon as you get more cars together, because drivers have to get a little bit more defensive. These guys are sort of attacking and defending between them, and there's now got to be an urgency for Scott Bugner to have a go. He's found some straight. Has he found the momentum? Lovely flick to our overhead camera. Hasn't got the line, though. He's got the outside run as they come into the first part of this S's. A little tap on the back there from Bugner, and my timing screen lights up and tells us that Bugner went into the back of Nathan Smith with the lightest of taps under braking, but it's brought Josh Martin and Joel Lask into it, and there are 3 cars going all into the corner together. And how's that going to pan out? Lask goes through on the inside of Martin. Joel Lask goes through, and he's going to try and close down now on Scott Bugner, who's in 3rd.
Somehow they all survived that. No idea how. Nathan Smith says thank you very much for the slight tap there, because it seemed to give him a bit more momentum. Brilliantly judged under brakes there by Scott Bugner as well. They were side by side, remain side by side through the first half of that corner. And now we have the top, well, I was about to say the top 5, second down to 6th, ready for another battle, because they've all survived that last corner. Great stuff.
They have Eric Axelsen trying to rejoin the back of this group. Andy Dorman 7 seconds clear, with an Axelsen-esque drive in this one, away from a superb start. Didn't even start in the front 3 rows. So super job from him, and we haven't seen him very much in the garage car, but he's away and out front. It's Nathan Smith 2nd, Scott Bugner 3rd. Bugner now closer to the cars behind him, which is not really what he wants to see. Axelsen, Ogden, Butler 9th. We saw a quick go, and now they're all beginning to bunch up again. So hold on to your hats, because this could go pear-shaped as Axelsen starts to have a look to try and get up into 6th place. That would be more valuable championship points. Axelsen chasing Andy Carroll, looks to the outside. Tries to get a big sweep here, gather momentum up for this straight, running downhill, can't quite convert the momentum into enough speed to have a look down the inside, despite the flow side-by-side stuff going on here again. And Joel Lask is very much involved here again. So Lask in 5th position, Dorman still out front, Josh Martin in the mix as well. Bugner to the outside. So still Nathan Smith there. Bugner could be in danger of losing out here. Bugner coming under pressure from Josh Martin. Look at this, they're hugging as we look at it, the right-hand side of the track, rather than sweeping out to the left and getting a racing line into the corner. So they're all technically impeding each other and holding them all, well, not holding them up, but defending successfully from them all at the moment is Nathan Smith, who's holding on, and now there's contact, and getting fired off there was Josh Martin. Josh Martin is off.
He is able to rejoin by the looks of it. Actually, no, he's had to wait a little bit longer. I thought he was going to be able to get underway. It looks like he's had a secondary collision as well. Disaster this late on for Josh Martin. I was just about to say, it's a bit of a reverse commentator's curse. If you're at the back of that pack, you're probably feeling quite happy at the moment because it's starting to get very elbows out. And look at Eric Axelsen, now up into P5.
Yeah, this is what his race has been about, hasn't it? From the word go. Pick people off slowly. We've not seen anything rash from Eric at all. And as a result of that, he did get pinged back a little bit earlier on, about mid-distance in the race, but he's managed to, again, go about his business quietly, pick some more cars off. We thought he might be having to content himself with 8th place, but that became 7th, became 6th, and now 5th position. But Joel Lask's still in front of him. Big battle on for 2nd place now, as Bugner again has a look. And I remember all this jostling about is going to slow them up. And Eric Axelsen has a look down the inside. I said he was being quiet, and he very definitely got a nose onto the inside of Joel Lask's car. It's definitely getting physical. Andy Carroll coming up and closing in on them as well behind. So it's that 3-car tussle behind. Bugner still can't find his way past Nathan Smith. Axelsen's going to have another go on the inside run here. Probably the tyres starting to go off on all of the cars, maybe contributing to some of the late shenanigans here with 1 minute just over now on the clock.
Yes, we saw Joel Laster on the defensive heading through the first apex. Eric Axelsen has to back off a little bit. Now we've got Andy Carroll seeing what he can do. This is all getting very close. As you say, those tyres starting to drop off. That only adds to the risk factor here. It is all to play for. Meanwhile, out in front, Andy Dorman, 10 seconds in the lead. This squabble in the final 10 minutes of this race has really allowed him to extend his lead out in front. Everyone in this pack, in the 149s or the 150s, he's out in front of the 147s.
Yeah, he's doing a super job, isn't he? Out front at the moment. Only 33 seconds left on the clock. Still this super fight, but Bugner has finally made it through into 2nd position from Nathan Smith. It's virtually been race long, but Nathan again a fighter who'll want to try and come back, but he also needs to perhaps defend. Was there a tap there? The back end starts to come round, and Joel Lask couldn't quite make the most of that one. Nathan will want to hang on to 3rd position. Joel Lask will want another podium to add to the one that he had in race number 1. He's ahead here of Axelsen, so it's Dorman, Bugner, Smith, and last 2 seconds remaining on the clock. This will be the final tour. Dorman, your race leader, is well clear. An extremely well judged race from Andy Dorman, who, you know, let's be honest, this wasn't an easy task for him by any stretch of the imagination as he comes down and will salute the pit lane, comes across the stripe to take the checkered flag and wins race 2 of event 1 of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Cupra Leon Cup, with Scott Bugner having a hard-earned 2nd position coming across the line. Now for P2, it's Nathan Smith in 3rd, Joel Lask 4th, Eric Axelsen in 5th position from Andy Carroll, Adam Lyle, then Brad Smith in 8th position from Alec Irongar in the top 10, Johnny Ogden 10th from Josh Martin recovering from 11th, from Darren Butler in 12th place, and Alex Walker coming through for 13th. So remember, Alex started off the back of the grid, having had that early upside down cake earlier on in race number 1.
Exactly.
But Andy Dorman, 2 great races there, Reeve.
Yeah, it's been a cracking drive for him. A very Eric-esque in the second race. Has been able to check out there. And as we say, an improvement there for Alex Walker. So it was actually a good race in the end for him. He was keeping up with some of those packs we've got on the top end of the field. We really have to rattle off those names at the end there. It was just so many cars crossing the line at the same time.
Absolutely superb. Catherine Potter 14th to continue the run. Olivia Krasnowska in 15th, and then it was 43 Sam Milner ahead of Lee Piercy, 17th. Disappointing race for Lee. He's outside his target top 10, and 18th place going to Mark Stokes. So they're on the slowing down lap. We get to have a little bit of a breather and a word from AGON before we come back to our firm-mate interview. So the reverse grid and the regulations did the business. We've got 3 different drivers on the podium for our second race of the evening. I'm going to start with 3rd position. Congratulations, but also hard lines, I think. Nathan, enjoy that one?
Yeah, it was good. It was the workout, I'll tell you that. Yeah, brilliant.
How disappointing is it? Was it the last lap? And Scott, but you two were what a super race you guys had all the way through once those early laps had settled down.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not that disappointed. I'm quite slow in this car. Don't have the brakes that the other boys seem to have. They can lunge on me in the corners, but I can drive a wide car. And I think it was only fair that Scott did end up getting through, because I can imagine he was very, very frustrated sitting behind what was a slower car in front, defending like mad.
It's racing though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I enjoyed it. I mean, we didn't take each other out. I don't know what quite happened towards the end with, I think it was Joel or someone caught me going into the hairpin. I thought that was it. I thought it was game over then, but no, it was good.
Yeah, I think Joel maybe realised that perhaps he'd been a little bit over-enthusiastic and backed out a bit, as you probably would in the real world. Fascinating one for me, because although I saw Scott racing last year when I was commentating at Thruxton, and it was on the truck bill, but I don't know whether do you go with your dad? And have you seen Scott at the racetrack this year?
Yeah, I do go with the dad, but I've seen Scott's car. Haven't seen him, because obviously when I'm at a race meeting, we're flat out trying to get get the truck back on the track, and they're not the easiest things to throw spanners at and keep them on the time schedule. So I don't get any time between races. But no, I think he's following the truck championship about a few times this year, so I will try my hardest to get and watch him and say hello to him.
I think there might be a beer there, aren't there, somewhere happening?
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good to me.
And how is Dad and things at DS Commercials? All good?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, Dad's currently away on holiday, preparing himself for the next race meet. I mean, the racetrack's going much better now. When we started the season, we had some proper horrible gremlins, i.e. wrong differential ratio and etc. But after Thruxton, the lap times he was putting in were bang on the money. So now it's just some seat time, and hopefully we'll get some podiums.
Going back to your seat time you had here, I mean, the opening couple of laps, how did you pick off so many cars so quickly?
To be honest, I think I might have nailed the launch control, and I think other people are struggling with it. And I'm always the same on a reverse grid. I managed to get through quite quick. I don't know. I just find my pace pretty instantly, pick off drivers, and then obviously once everyone else that's faster starts coming and catching up, then I start to struggle. But more seat time, I think. Need to stop jumping into the car at the last minute and expecting to be fast. But that's good.
There's a thing called life that gets in the way sometimes, isn't there?
Unfortunately, work always comes first. So.
Nathan, well done on the podium. Super drive, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed watching you dicing with Scott and also with Andy in the opening stages. So great stuff, and we'll see you on the podium again soon.
Yeah, thanks very much. Congratulations to the other guys. It was well deserved.
Nice one. Well done, mate. So Reeve is going to interview our second place man.
Thank you very much, Richard. And it is Scott Bugner in P2. Let's get the other side of that battle. And that looked like fun out there, Scott. What are your feelings afterwards?
Yeah, no, it's really good. Fair play to Nathan. He defended really, really well. And I tried every single corner, different things, and it didn't work. And I just managed to kind of, I think he kind of understood what I was going to do and keep trying to get the switch back. And I thought I'd just try and do something different on that last lap and go around the outside, and it worked. But that was really good.
Would you say it was that confidence in the car that you were discussing after qualifying that kind of helped you in trying that alternative move?
It didn't help me in the first race. Yeah, I'd say yes, a little bit, but it was so close. I didn't even think about it. It was just, you're looking in the mirrors and you've got cars going sideways behind you and you're getting tapped yourself, and it's really hard not to hit that person in front. So, but no, it was really good and really enjoyed it.
Well, you say first race not going too well. P4 at the end of the day, still good, but the race, reverse grid race, sorry, even better. 10 positions gained in this race. You must be quite pleased with that performance overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's really good. It's good points, and I'm always like a Jason Plato, where I always go for moves that I probably shouldn't, that have cost me championships in the past. So I'm going to try and go for the subtle approach and just get points now.
Well, speaking of championships, do you feel like after this performance you are in the mix for this one?
Yeah, I'd say I'm quite confident with it, and I've got a bit of time off during the next couple of weeks off work, so I can do a bit of practice and hopefully stay at the sharp end and keep the old likes of Eric and Joel and that behind me.
So our next race is Barcelona, a track perhaps a little bit more familiar based on what you've driven in the past, and of course a real life circuit. What are your thoughts going into that next round?
I think the last time we raced it, I think I got 2 podiums, so hopefully I can do the same thing. But it is a really good track. It's quite demanding on tyres, but there's some good overtaking corners and a very, very long main straight. So I should think there'll be a couple of 3 wides or 4 wides into the first corner.
Well, that sounds like fun, so I'm certainly looking forward to it. Thank you very much for your time, Scott. Enjoy the podium. Back to you, Richard.
Indeed, Reeve. So that just leaves us. Well, we've got 2 more things because we've got our driver of the evening to think about as well, which we'll do in a moment. But before we get that, what a great drive, Andy Dorman! Congratulations. And where did you come from on the opening lap?
I'm not sure. Just the road parted, and I just managed to get past a lot of people, I think.
But it was not easy. I mean, you carried on, you put in good times, you built your lead, and I said it was almost like we were watching Eric Axelsen in race number 1 again, pulling away as you did. So, and that's not an easy thing to do in any race, let alone a reverse grid one.
No, I just try to keep it consistent, not do anything daft to get any track limits or anything.
Yeah, I guess that could be quite an easy way. Track limits could be an easy way to undo your good work, couldn't it?
Yeah, because 3 and then you get a drive through, so it's quite easy. Just tag the grass a couple of times and that's it. I mean, all the leads lost then.
Did you expect to get a win today? Obviously, you're hoping for it because you're out there on the grid, but what was your expectation?
I was just looking for a couple of top 10s would have done me today. I'm over the moon with a win.
Superb, great job. Reeve was talking in race 2 about the various bits and bobs that you could change. Was there any changes that you made to set up? You don't have to be specific and give your secret of winning away, but did you have a fiddle with anything after race 1?
Yeah, I don't think I left anything alone.
Are you a driver that does that all the time, or if the car's working, do you just leave it?
I can normally find a way to improve it when the setup's open like this.
That's pretty good. And I think Reeve possibly lives near you. We were talking about Eden Garage and where you're based. I think he's after a free service, so I might have to hook you up with him.
Yeah, he'll have to give me a shout.
It's only a small drive from Liverpool to Newcastle.
Andy, it's Rich. They asked me where your garage was, and I really couldn't remember. And I said somewhere near Newcastle, which I know you're probably going to kill me for now. Where is your garage?
It's closer to Croft.
Right, that's right, it is, yeah. Seems you live, or used to live, have you moved from there now?
Yeah, I only live about 5 miles away from Croft now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you were on the doorstep though, were it?
Yeah, I grew up at Croft.
I was there at the weekend. It's kind of become my home track this year. I had three meetings there this year, which is good. It's a nice place to go, and the people are always. I always find the people a bit like Knock Hill. The further north you go, the more friendly people are generally, and also more interested in the racing and sort of take more. I don't know whether it's. I don't know. Us not down south are a bit cold, aren't we sometimes? But a great track. Did you happen to go at the weekend, Andy, or were you away doing something else?
No, I was away doing something else. I wanted to get down to the TCRs, to be fair.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad meeting. They were a little bit low on numbers, but the racing was good, and I was sort of involved with the supports, which was good. But similar question to the one Reeve asked Scott. Obviously, we're going to Barcelona. I can see the timing screen's already got the setup ready for everybody to get in and practice. Any thoughts on that? Have you done it before? Done well, badly, or otherwise?
Yeah, I've driven Barcelona a few times. I quite like that track. I've driven it a few times, a lot more. This was the first time at this track, so hopefully we can do something similar next time.
That'll be good. As I say, it was a terrific drive, so very well done. It wasn't even off the front row of the grid. You came through and made up a lot of positions, a lot of hard work to do in the opening laps. So many congratulations. Real pleasure to talk to you, and wish you well for the rest of the campaign. I won't be with you guys next week, but I will be back for Donington Park, which I think is the third one. So congratulations, Andy Dorman, and thanks for having an hour with us.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
One more thing which we need to announce, which is our driver of the evening. And those of you watching the screen can see that our driver of the evening is Eric Axelson. Eric, many congratulations. Two good races, but that reverse grid race was tough. It was up and down and then back up again.
Yeah, man, it was tough. That's the yeah. I mean, that was so close racing. Really clean racing too. Really tough. That was so much fun.
Oh, we enjoyed it as well. I'm glad you did. And it just looked like in the opening laps you were. It was really considered stuff from you. It looked like you didn't want to get involved in, sort of doing things overly quickly, and you were picking people off sort of quite assuredly, but not slowly by any means, but just one by one and coming through. And you did the same after the incident that put you back, and it's a great style to watch.
Yeah, I mean, as I think I said before, it's a long race. 25 minutes is quite a long race still, and so in the start you can kind of I'm a bit patient, and but as the time runs out, everyone starts to try I'm at defense more, and it was so tough there at the end. It was proper touring car.
That's very good. Well, thank you for entertaining us. Well done on winning driver of the evening and winning our first race, and a great driving race too. And to all our drivers, Eric, I think, leaves with a provisional championship lead, 44 points, playing Scott Bugner second on 40, Joel Lask third on 38, then Andy Dorman and Adam Lyle tied in on 34 points. As my great friend Phil Cooper from Legends used to say, the fixtures, Richard, are provisional until the race is run, and then the results are provisional. So we'll have some adjudication, no doubt, at some point. But please join us, as in the team, next week, 24th of July. It will be Jack Oliphant with Reeve Taylor. Reeve, pleasure to work with you, mate, and look forward to doing it again very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. First time we've shared the commentary box, and likewise, very much looking forward to some more of it. I'm really excited now for the next round, a very different nature of track. We've seen the drivers seem happy with these cars. Let's see if they'll be happy with the track and car combo. But yeah, all change in this championship, so looking forward to it.
So to get alliterative, it's and goodbye from Rich, Richard and Reeve. We'll see you next time. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching from everybody on the Virtual Reality Racing Club Cupra Leon Cup. Hope you enjoyed the opening evening. Be well, stay safe, be nice to each other. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Woo! The inside of Cokes. Parker gets too heavily involved. And that's Whitehead and Cokes.